Living in an ever-frantic world, it's important to take stock in the quiet moments, investing a little time in yourself and what makes you happy. For us, that's spending some time behind the wheel and running through the gears. No traffic, no streetlights, no obstacles, just you and your machine. Ultimately, stepping out of routine and tapping into what makes you tick can manifest a zen that otherwise eludes us in our day-to-day lives. But even getting to that point can take a lot of work, and truly no moment can be taken for granted. Sometimes you have to work for it. Some might say that all good things are hard-earned. Welcome back to The Curb Cut. All right. So a couple weeks ago, I got a DM from our friends at Prime.NYC inviting me to showcase the Datsun at an event they were throwing with GridLife up at Lime Rock Park. Okay? For those of you not familiar, Prime is pretty much the unofficial steward of everything tuna related in New York City. GridLife, maybe you've heard of, is a grassroots motorsports company that throws events and track days coast to coast. So, needless to say, an invitation to an event like this is something that I was not going to miss, okay? Just to be considered to showcase the car at Prime's tent is an honor in and of itself. That being said, making it there wasn't going to be easy. Been a busy few months here at the garage, and between meeting the needs of clients and tackling other projects around here when I have the time, the Datsun has sadly been the most neglected car in the house. I've scavenged parts off of it for others, began taking things apart here and there for the new motor we built, and with the way things have been going, I frankly didn't plan on taking it out anytime soon. I basically resigned myself to a no-fun summer for the sake of the business and various, more important things. But look, I love this car. I can't ignore it. I can't ever fully neglect it. And as it sits here constantly reminding me that it's mine and its very life depends on my work, the invitation to the Legends Concours was the perfect call to action. Not only for the sake of the Datsun, but for the sake of my own mental health. Listen, ignoring what you love for the sake of work or stress or whatever the case may be is plainly unsustainable. Eventually, the lingering emptiness you feel becomes a void. And you either fill it, or you fall right down into it. God damn it, this car was going to make it to Lime Rock no matter what. The most immediate issue at hand was the crushed and crumpled exhaust that's been under the car for the past few years. Driving around town in a car this low with the Z's notoriously unforgiving exhaust clearance ultimately destroyed what was under there. So the call to dress myself up with something new was answered first. Next up was cleaning my carbs, sorting out my tired old throttle linkage, and installing new jets. Figured I might as well install the Harada intake manifold I was saving for the new motor as well. Also, a few months back, I cannibalized my jets for a client Z and never got around to replacing them. In fact, for all the reserve jets and air correctors I had lying around, none of them landed in a spec that I was happy with. Thanks to the quick shipping of Pegasus Racing, I was able to get what I needed in time for the weekend. Oh, and have I mentioned that we're doing all this in the final 48 hours before the event? Yeah. No time like the last minute, right? Quite literally in the 11th hour, I got the car started and was able to cure the header paint. No time for wrapping, although we love it, and really only ripped the car around the block once. And of course, we were not in the clear of obstacles. Quite the opposite, actually. See, while we were doing all this work, it occurred to me that the BQE, a few short miles from the shop, was totally torn up for construction, and God knows where else along our impending journey. To have done all this work and not actually be able to drive the car to Connecticut or break down on the way was plainly not an option. Ultimately, the sure bet was to go ahead and rent the trailer from U-Haul for a car that's 2 inches off the ground. Good. Thankfully, our friends Diego and Lyle showed up at 5 a.m. to make the trip to Connecticut with us, and we were able to put our heads and hands together in terms of sorting out this trailer. Hopefully no one from U-Haul is watching this, because I'm pretty sure we breached every part of the fine print in this rental contract.
No, he can't, no.
Be sure to mark the time he can see the underglowing in your spine.
And at 6 a.m. we were off. 2.5 hours from Connecticut for a 9 a.m. call time. We can do this. Once we got out of the city, it became clear that Connecticut cares a lot more about its roads and highways than New York City. And with such perfect tarmac there for the taking, we pulled over and unhooked a Z at a local gas station, if not just to enjoy a few moments of automotive bliss before we parked the car for the day. And with a few minutes to spare, we made it to Lime Rock. The stewards ushered us in, and once we were parked at the Prime tent, it had dawned on me that I never actually washed the car or vacuumed the thing before we left New York. Oh well. Okay, let me just say that I had no idea what to expect on the day. This is my first ever GridLife event as a participant and a spectator. These guys know how to throw a party. Beyond how impressive the turnout was for the car show side of things, the folks at GridLife made sure that the track itself was not neglected for a single moment on Saturday. From time attack races to cup races to the first ever open drift sessions allowed on the track at Lime Rock, there was something to behold for everyone in attendance. It was also a treat to see our friends from Front Street Drift Club shaking out their cars during open drift. To feel a certain local presence at the track this far from home was something special. Everyone was welcome to walk through the pits and take in the sights of the parking lots and spectator areas, which was quite frankly a car show in and of itself. And no matter where you found yourself on the grounds that day, the energy at Lime Rock served to remind you that you were exactly where you belonged. As the day drew its end and the scheduled track sessions had finished, the boys at Prime chose a group of us to close out the day with a parade lap around the storied racetrack. And let me just say, the opportunity to pull my Datsun onto the very track where people like Paul Newman and Bob Sharp made these Datsuns world famous was an absolute honor. The journey I've been on with this machine after all these years had finally brought me here, and I couldn't be happier. As the sun began to set over Lime Rock Park, the only things that seemed to exist on this planet were me, my Datsun, and the best tarmac on Earth. Any and all stresses or worries simply melted away as I shifted through the gears. At the risk of sounding cheesy, in that moment I had truly transcended. I may have gotten so caught up in the moment that I oopsed myself a little solo lap while I was out there, but trust me, that was totally a mistake. I didn't mean to do it, I swear. Once we pulled back into the pits and put the car away for the evening, we took a moment to catch up with Pravon and Edwin from Prime to thank him for the invitation and to ask him a bit about how he ended up here and where we might be headed. All right, so you guys have been doing Prime for 7 years?
7 or 8 years, something like that, maybe more. I don't know.
And I mean, you know, the way I got introduced to you guys was, you know, local street meets, meetups, and weeknights around the city, you know, things that I never experienced growing up in the city like that. You know, it was always like street races here, maybe a couple guys getting together in parking lots there. From where you guys started putting these together to now at Lime Rock with GridLife, like, what's this trajectory? This is amazing.
It's funny when you put it like that. It seems like such a larger than life expectation than what we originally had. But I don't know. It's just kind of natural progression for me personally. I don't know. Like, you know, we just wanted to continue to like do things for the community, and then this opportunity showed up where GridLife wanted to come here and sort of like share the hospitality with the East Coast. Reached out to us to sort of be that bridge, and then we brought the community out. Yeah, that's it. That's basically it.
I mean, I feel like that's the strength of Prime since I knew you guys. Is just the fact that you can bring people that many of us would never meet in their day-to-day lives, but you guys are this aggregate for people hidden all over New York City. Millions of people live in the city, and then you are the guys that put it all together, and it's like, I've made friends through the meets, and like...
Yeah, I think that's the most valuable part of it, is being able to find folks who share the common interests. Yeah. Regardless of like what we do, I think that's what we will always have in mind, like being able to build a community and just expand on it, whether it's a street session or something that's a bit more formal like this. Something that Kemal mentioned from Superlife. He's like, why do we have to pay to be in a show? And we are the show. Yeah. Right? So that makes absolutely no sense. Yeah. So this opportunity came around where folks didn't actually have to pay. Right. And opposite, you actually wind up getting other things. Yeah. May not be monetary, but some relaxing time or some air conditioning or breakfast or barbecue or something. But it's like you're valuing a community instead of the opposite, or because so often we have this money exchange value, monetary value for something else. Sometimes it's not the case. And in this situation, we thought that it would be a great opportunity for us to have the space here and be able to really come together and just hang out.
The inclusivity of it too is I think the one of the most special parts of these meets is like, you know, like my car is not painted. It's not, you know, a polished show car. You know, a big event like this can be intimidating for a lot of guys. And it's just like to be able to show up in my car in the state that it's in, and you know, something I'm proud of that I want to share with friends and meet people and talk about. I feel like I can bring this here and hang out and chop it up with a guy with a beautiful Valeside FD, or like, you know, it's like, and everybody here is hanging out underneath the Prime banner, and that's how it all gels. It's very unique to what you guys have put together. I think.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you say that. It gives me goosebumps because that's exactly sort of like the mission statement. When Pravon and I started doing it, because like, you know, there's been these kind of things over the years in the community and for different reasons, but nothing beats like bringing people together and just have a nice like connection of the same mindset, you know? So it doesn't matter if your car, if you put like 100 grand in your car or you're still working on it, whatever, you still have the same mindset. And that's what builds the community. And when I see that happening and hear people like you saying that back to us, it just makes me really happy to hear.
Dude,
So
it's
thank
sick.
you.
I mean, like, it's all part of the bigger community. I mean, like, you know, what we're up to, what you guys are up to, it's just like, I feel like the ability to come together and have all those people sort of see eye to eye is rare. You know, people stay in their own little facets and their own little safe spaces. And like, I told my dad I was going to Lime Rock for a car show. And he's like, what? You're bringing Datsun to Lime Rock? All right. But then, like,
It was so dope. It was so great.
Yeah, it was
We have
awesome.
these like characters like, oh, you're a Datsun guy. You're a GTR person.
Yeah.
Or you're a Honda head. How would we not have that? Just hang out.
Yeah, just hang out.
Yeah.
And then honestly, your car is like one of my favorite cars in New York in general.
Yeah.
You know, and whenever I'm driving in Greenpoint, I'm looking for you. Yo, I know he's out here because you post up the images in front of the bodegas, in front of the different shops and stuff. And I ran into you a few times over there, and I'm just like, oh, it's one of my favorites. So if I like it, I'm pretty sure tons of people are gonna like it.
No, I mean that's why I fuck with you guys. I feel like the vibe
And
is there.
that's the whole point, right? Like being the car owner, we kind of are our biggest critics. But you have to think about it. Other people may not think that. It's great exactly as it is.
Yeah.
And often it's less about the cars. It's actually more about the people. Right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, today was a good hang and got to meet new people, catch up with people I haven't seen in a minute. Like, I haven't been to an event all summer.
Yeah.
And when you guys hit me up, it was like, all right, this is the one thing I'm making sure I get to. I got, a week to put this thing back together to get it up. Yeah, dude, this was
So glad
really,
you did,
really
man.
fucking cool. So, respect,
to you, man.
always.
Thanks so much for
dude.
making it. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Cool.
Appreciate it,
Good
guys.
times. Good
Thank
times.
you so much, folks.
So there you have it. The 2022 Prime GridLife Legends Concours was nothing short of amazing. I came here humbled by the privilege to participate, and then leaving, I can't help but feel so much more. I have infinite gratitude to everyone who supports me in the ground level, and I feel a rejuvenated urge to finally push this car to the next level, to arrive at a place of completion and seeing out the maximum potential of this machine. I feel like I've always operated under this compulsion to build towards a dream while continually satisfying my present urges to build and learn and grow and feel joy. Truly, this ragged old Datsun has given me all those things. And for all we've been through together, I feel like we're really only getting started. We have so much in store for this thing, including the install of our new motor, major cosmetic overhauls, and plenty of other exciting new developments. All of which we'll be getting to in future episodes here at the Curb Cut, so stay tuned. And as always, we thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time.